Vibe coding has made it easier than ever to build your own productivity tools and even replace tools that you don't need to be paying for anymore. And one of the best productivity tools to have in your arsenal to get more done is a website blocker, because if you're anything like me, then as soon as you go on the web, you inevitably start feeling the pull to go to X or Instagram or Reddit or, hey, YouTube. So instead of trying to find the perfect website blocker that fits your use, and instead of having to pay for one, I'm going to show you how easy it is to vibe code your own. Now for this, I'm going to be doing all of my programming in Cursor, and I highly prefer doing local vibe coding using Cursor or agents like Claude Code and GPT Codex over doing it in your browser for reasons I'll talk about in a different video. I've already created the folder for this, but as you can see, there are no files in here. So I'm going to start with the Cursor agent. I'll just use auto. I don't care to specify the model right now. And I will say, please help me build a Chrome extension for blocking websites. I'd like it to have a simple UI where I can add or remove websites from the list of sites that I want to block. I'd like to be able to set a duration for how long to block the sites for, and I'd like to make it very hard to interrupt the blocking during that period. I'm just going to start with that because I don't want to get too complicated on the initial build. The more complicated of an initial prompt we give it without creating a whole planning document, which I don't think is necessary for a simple build like this, the more it might get confused. So let's start there because this should give us the basic functionality we're looking for. Now, Cursor will get to work building out the initial version of this app for us. And while it's doing that, I should mention that if you do want to get more familiar with using Cursor to build your own apps, definitely check out the Build Your Own Apps course at buildyourownapps.com, or subscribe to this video or subscribe to the blog. There's a lot of ways you can learn more about how to do this, but I love showing just how easy it is to build these things now and get them working in an actual final production ready environment. And this is a perfect example of a quick tool that you can build with these skills. Looks like Cursor finished building the initial version of our app, and it says that it has everything ready to go. So let's go ahead and test it out. First, I'm going to open this in my Finder. So I'll just right click over here, click Reveal in Finder, and then we'll want to go up a folder here. So we have the site blocker. Great. Then we need to go to Chrome, and we're just going to paste this. You can see I already have developer mode turned on. So I'm going to click Load Unpack. And as we tried to load it, we got this error. Now, it's totally expected that you're going to have some errors on the first build when you're trying to create a whole app from scratch in Cursor. So all I'm going to do is take a screenshot of this. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to go back to Cursor. I'm going to say we had an error loading it and paste that in. Sending screenshots into Cursor is a very powerful way to get errors resolved without having to try to recreate what the message is, especially in a situation where you might not want to manually copy and paste everything. And in this case, it looks like the issue was that we didn't have actual icons generated, just placeholders. And so Cursor is actually going to make some basic icons for us, which is quite cool. We could, of course, also go to ChatGPT or Gemini and create some initial icons there. And that would be a good step after this once a basic version is working. Now, since it's getting stuck here, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to just put in an icon of my own and ask it to resize it. So if we open this, we can see that all of these PNGs are not working. So I'm going to select all of those and delete them. And then I just pasted in the icon for this channel. So I'll say I added an icon.png to the icons folder you can use and resize instead of making one from scratch. This will likely work a little bit better, and you can see it's gone ahead and created the icon 16, 48, and 128. So now we can try again. We will go back to Chrome, select this again, and it says that there are some warnings, so we can click on that. If we want to resolve those, we can, but I think we should just go ahead and try it out. So I'll click on my extensions, click on Site Blocker. Ooh, look at this. Okay. I don't know what these durations are. Is this an hour and minutes? So we're going to need to fix that. But let's just try blocking a website. So I'll add reddit.com, add it. And I'm just going to set this to 1 in case it's harder to turn off than I think. And I'm going to click Start Blocking. This is going to start counting down from 1 minute. And if I try to go to reddit.com, we can see the site is blocked and it has the time remaining. Pretty cool. So that's totally working. It was that easy to just build our own blocker. And obviously we can add a bunch of other features to this that we might want, but as is, this is a pretty solid app. This is something that somebody might even pay for, right? I've certainly paid for blocking apps that lookabout is defined as this. But from here, you can think of a lot of other directions you can take this in. You could ask Cursor to let you create lists of sites to block. So if you want to switch between your social or your news or whatever, you can give it that option. You could add a way to try to stop it early. I mean, what happens if I click stop? That just stops it, right? So we might want something more aggressive, but that shows you just how easy it is to build your own quick, simple productivity tools with vibe coding. So give it a try. Let me know if you run into any issues in the comments. And if you build something else cool and push it live, I'd love to see that too.